Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 Xbox One review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Killer Instinct, which if you've never played it before, it's a fighting game. It's the third in the series, but I've never got around to playing Killer Instinct 2 or Gold as it was eventually known on the N64 because I had heard how horrendous it was. Well, this one, I've heard nothing good about it really from a lot of people ever since it launched, and you honestly know why that is? Because it's just been a load of fanboy drivel. As soon as I started looking in the right places and watching and reading reviews and then eventually playing it and forming my own opinion, I discovered that almost everything I'd heard was complete and utter bullshit. The game itself is magnificent. It is everything that I hoped it would be. Anyone who knows me knows I love fighters. I must own 100 of them. I must have reviewed 100 of them, you know? I just adore fighters. I play them all the time. I don't even know who said it. I just overheard the people discussing it. That a famous, I don't know if he was a physicist or a statistician, he came out and he basically said the appeal of fighters is the fact that it taxes the brain because it's like playing 100 games of chess that are ever evolving all at the same time, and that's exactly why I like a fighter, because it's just, no match is ever the same. Even if you're playing the same person over and over again with the same characters over and over again, the chances of you recording an almost identical match have got to be astronomical. It's just one of those things. Unless you are playing like robots and at the same time you always jump and kick and fireball, you know, then it's not going to happen. So let's get on to the game. At the start, you've got local player, which has quite a few features there. Online multiplayer, leaderboards. You can go into your fight archive and view your stats. You can go into the KI store, buy DLC and that, basically, and add-ons. To be fair, I think that's the one where you buy DLC. It might actually be the one where it brings up what you've got. And yeah, this is the one where it's just the store itself, which is why it's now refreshing the content. Because you could have bought characters and like just went for free characters, and then you could buy the special packs and that. And I went for the Ultra Edition because it was on sale. Even if it hadn't been, I would have bought it at £32. And you basically get a load of stuff. You get all the retro costumes and that. And you also get the SNES original redone, and it's like an arcade version, and you get the 1.4 edition and then the 1.5 edition, and I'll get to them when I actually do that review. Customization, there's loads of stuff that you can unlock for different characters and that, and it just basically it changes them up a bit. So for example, you can choose different gloves, you can choose different weapons, and it doesn't change anything. I mean, the wearing them doesn't increase the punches or anything like that, to my honest recollection. I've not exactly had measuring sticks out and that to measure the strength of a punch and to see how much life it takes, you know. As far as I'm aware, it's all just purely cosmetic, but it's still nice that you can do it because it means that you're gonna, at the end of the day, there's 9 characters including Shadow Jargo, which is one of the characters that basically you got it on the Day 1 edition of Xbox Live, which I don't have Day 1 Xbox One, but those Day 1 Xbox Lives, they're doing the rounds all over the place. So even though I'm like 7 months into this system, I've still got Shadow Jago, so I'm over the moon with that. And he is just kind of like a reskin. It's when you verse him, he's more powerful, but other than that, he's just a reskin. But I still like having him, and it's just one of those things that by having such a small roster of what is essentially 9 characters, the customization at least changes it up a little bit, you know. Even if it is purely aesthetically, it just changes it up a bit because it means that you're going up against different combinations of costumes so people can show off their own style and that. You've got the controller remap, which is standard for any fighting game really, and it's just pretty much, it's exactly what you want, you know. You can reposition your HUD, you can choose your audio and display options and that, and that's pretty much it. Going into local player, there is arcade versus survival, which them 3 are self-explanatory, and if they're not, then it means you're completely new to fighters, which is why this fighter is absolutely great for you, because there's a dojo and a practice section, and it's got one of the most expansive training simulators in any fighter, to the point that if you have been terrified to get into fighters because of said quotes like it's like playing 100 games of chess that are ever evolving all at the same time, because you thought, oh, there's no way I can manage that, then this is the game for you, because it teaches you everything. And it doesn't just teach you how to play Killer Instinct. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be sections where it comes up, do this, and that's going to be unique to Killer Instinct. But at the same time, the majority of the skills are interchangeable with every other fighter. So if you have never played one before, you cannot do better than to start with this, because as well as it being an absolutely amazing game, it's got such a great tutorial, such a great training suite, that it will teach you how to play a whole range, and you can start getting into them and that. And the biggest thing that any fighting fan needs really is someone to play locally. I do not care how good online gets, there will always be latency. It gets to that point where even the slightest bit can totally screw up a combo or a move and get you killed. Playing side by side, whether it be standing up in an arcade, whether it be sitting playing on a console, is, as far as I am concerned, the only way to play a fighter. I cannot stand playing online. Every time I've tried it, I've absolutely hated it. There's then also something that I've got to mention, which is basically the difficulty modes. You might notice noob there. It goes easy, medium, hard, killer, and then Kyle. Kyle, I need to look into where that comes from, because that can't be random. That's got to be something like, there's like a famous fight champ out there called Kyle. You know, it's got to be that sort of thing. For now, because I'm going to get destroyed anyway, I'm going to put it on noob just to basically show off some fighting, as I've spent the majority of the time in the menu so far, much to my brother's annoyance. But at the end of the day, that's why I do vids like this. I show off the things that a lot of people decide to forget. And it's the sort of thing that annoys me when you can't view basic things. I, to this day, still haven't found a review that actually says that you can fully customise your controls in Borderlands 2 on the Vita, which is why, well, when I do my review, that's going to get mentioned. And it's just one of those things, if you don't like it, then you don't have to watch the vid, you know, but there's a lot of people out there who want this detail, and that is the sole point why I did it. But, as I say, I need to actually at least show some fighting, because otherwise it would be a video entirely of reviews. So there's not really much I can say about the menu aspect that I haven't already said. On to the actual fighting mechanics. It's not so much your standard fighter. While it's got moves and that, the standard thing where you do like quarter circle forward, quarter circle backward, then you add a punch or a kick, you do back forward, down up, punch or a kick. It's got all that sort of special stuff. And it's got like combos where you just have to basically interchange different strength attacks of punch and kicks and that. That's all pretty standard, except for the fact that you can get a special combo on this called an ultra combo, which I've pulled one off so far, and that was without any training or without any reading up on combos. It was pure, I suppose, luck more than anything else. I managed to get into the zone and started to pull off the right buttons at the right time. And it was only 28, which I'm pretty sure is relatively low from what I've seen online. But still, ultra combos are pretty much what you want to aspire to, because the announcer is awesome, and it's the way he announces it, and it always was with Killer Instinct. But I'll be honest, as much as I like Ultra, having now seen a video that was circulating on the internet a couple of days ago of Buff Bagwell doing a Canadian destroyer, which, even if you were not into wrestling, it takes 14 seconds to watch that vid. Just simply YouTube Buff Bagwell Canadian Destroyer and listen to the commentator, because while it is an impressive move, I now can't help but feel that after Ultra Combo there should be holy fuck, because now I just absolutely love that and the way that the guy on the video says it. And again, as I say, even if you're not into wrestling, it's worth watching the video just for that and the commentator's well, reaction to it, basically. And I'll be honest, I'm not really that much into wrestling anymore. I enjoyed it as a kid, and then I slowly grew out of it, as pretty much the majority of people with talent who could actually kind of make it look interesting got shafted for people who, well, quite frankly, looked like moving corpses out there, you know. So all that standard with the combos and that, and that, while there isn't a holy fuck combo, I think there should be. That's pretty much where Killer Instinct breaks away from the norm now, because you've got loads of different things. The fact that you can get absolutely pummeled by combos, there's combo breakers, and you have to learn how to use them, and there's like reversals to pretty much everything in the game, and this is why it's like playing 100 games of chess revolving, because there are just so many counters. It can become a time of who has the most nerve, because sometimes you have to actually be willing to get hit a few times in order to deal the most damage back. And it's just an absolute, it's an excellent way of doing it. There's then bars of health, which instead of having 2 rounds, you've just got 1 big bar of health really. It goes green, then it goes red, and you might have noticed when I was fighting the last person, which I think might have been awkward, to be fair, I wasn't really paying much attention, at least this guy's spinal, then even if I manage to get a perfect here, which even on noobs not guaranteed, because yeah, they always tend to do something, and as I say, I'm not exactly that adversed in the ways of combo breaking yet. It's something that's on my list of definitely training how to do, but at the end of the day I've got a lifetime to get better at the game, you know. Well, even though I'm going to most likely have energy left, or at the very least he's going to have energy left, then I'm not going to lose the bonus, and I've never liked that on fighters, and it's why I always like Killer Instinct, and Injustice and that does it as well, because then I feel like I've been cheated out of energy when that happens, and this, you just get the 2 energy bars and you go until you're dead, and that's it really. There's then the yellow bar, which is basically, it does different things for different characters. It's when you Glacius, if you hit the right combination of buttons, then you'll cover yourself in armour and you'll have it while the yellow bar's active, and that. Spinal's got one that brings skulls around his head, at least I believe that's what it did. My brother was playing a Spinal when he pulled that one off, and he said that that was what the effect was. For all I know, he could have just done a move that I didn't know how to do. There's then blue bars at the bottom, which is kind of becoming the normal in a lot of fighters. When they fill up, you can then do special versions of special moves by simply hitting more than 1 attack button as you do the quarter circle, so 2 punches together or 2 kicks together, or you can kind of cheat and use the button that you've assigned for 3 punches and 3 kicks, and you'll pull off a super version of that move. So I did pull off a few there, and hopefully you'll have caught them, and it just basically makes them better, and they can mix into your combos and that, and it works well. The whole fighting system on the game works amazingly well. Graphically, it is pretty damned beautiful and stunning. Considering all the things I'd heard of, the Xbox can't do this, Xbox can't do that, Xbox can't do this, it got to the point where when I switched the console on, I was kind of expecting Commodore 64 graphics, because I'd heard so much crap, you know? And I was so happy that when I actually switched games on, I realised, well, no, it looks great, it's just people being arseholes again. So, yeah, I don't think there is anything else I can really say about Killer Instinct. To very quickly sum up, if you are a die-hard veteran of fighters, you need to add this to your collection. If you are a complete novice to fighters, you need to add this to your collection. It really is one of those games that can go either way. You can either use it as a training tool to get you into other fighters. Hell, there's even veterans who use the training on it because it says it's taught them techniques or helped them perfect techniques that they weren't that great at, and it's made them better at other fighters, you know? So you can either use it as a training tool or you can play it as just an excellent fighter. This is, I suppose I should clarify for anyone watching, the Season 1 review with the 9 characters, as I did mention. There will be an add-on when Season 2 comes out, but there are so far, as far as I am aware, unless they've just been announced while I've been recording, no details on Season 2 coming out. Hopefully it'll be another 8 characters, because I don't expect to get another Shadow Jago sort of thing, you know. But hopefully it'll be another 8 characters, and hopefully it'll be a little bit of a reduced price, because I'd understand paying the same amount for the same content, but at the same time you're not really then getting the same content because you've already got the basics, you've got everything else. So because you're just paying for the fighters, I'd be quite happy if the not so much went half price, but the game launched at £32, maybe £20 for another 8 characters. I'd probably consider very fair, especially when it's going to add a load of longevity into the game. And the biggest problem I suppose they've got is balancing, because any fighters that add in, it's going to throw off other fighters, you know. So I'm fine with them taking their time. I'm fine with them introducing new characters. It'd be quite nice to see. There's obviously favourites that people want to see return. I mean, I was absolutely gutted that Riptor and Cinder weren't in it. But at least Saberwolf was, because I've always loved Saberwolf. And, well, this is him here, and it's kind of a shame to be beating him up. But at the end of the day, that's the whole point of a fighter and a beat him up. You kick the crap out of your opponent. So I think that is everything I can say. If you've got an Xbox One, take a look. If you don't, I'm not going to say it was worth buying a console for you, but for me, this is one of the absolute definite reasons why I wanted an Xbox One, and I'm glad that I bought one. I really am. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.